Dear me, Professor Parkins, how pale you look. I'm sure you need another cup of tea.
Thank you, Mrs. Spenlow. That would be most welcome.
There. Don't you find the heat quite oppressive this afternoon? I told my husband we should have held our little at home in the garden.
It's certainly close, but to tell you the truth, Mrs. Spenlow, I'm not affected by the heat. I had a slight shock just now. It's quite trivial, but one can't help one's reaction.
Now, what can it have been, I wonder, to make you so very pale?
Well, it was... You'll laugh at me, I know. It was a surplice.
A surplice, Professor?
Yes. A choir boy's surplice hanging on a peg in the vestry of the chapel. The door was open, and I saw it stirring in the wind. That's all.
Good gracious me.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? Just a piece of white linen hanging on a peg, moving in the breeze, but it really alarms me when I see anything of that kind.
Well, you really must tell me why, Professor. I love strange stories, especially from archaeologists.
Well, very well, if you insist. Nobody believes me, but I go on telling them what happened. It all began a few years ago when I was dining in hall one evening at the end of full term. One of my neighbours leant over and asked me...
I suppose you'll be getting away pretty soon, Professor?
Oh, yes, I've taken up golf this term, you know, and I intend to go to Burnstow for a week or so to improve my game. Do you know it at all?
Oh, yes, indeed. Remote old place, isn't it? Typical East Anglian coast village.
I understand there'll only be golfers to foregather with. I shall not mind in the least. Their conversation will be a pleasant change from that of my students.
Did I hear you mention Burnstow, Parkins?
Yes, I was just saying to Brown. I'm off there tomorrow.
Oh, then I wish you'd look at the site of the Templars' Preceptory there. I'd like your opinion of it in case it's worth a dig in the summer.
Certainly, Purdon. I'll be delighted. Where's the site?
Well, it must be quite close to the beach now. The sea's crept in tremendously all along that bit of coast. I don't think there's anything showing above ground, but I think the site's about 3/4 of a mile from the Globe Inn.
Oh, that's useful, because I'm staying at the Globe. The trouble is, they can only give me a double room.
No, where's the trouble in that, Parkins? Look here, I'll come down for a bit and keep you company.
Oh, do, Rogers. Yes, by all means. But I'm afraid you'll find it rather dull. You don't play golf, do you?
No, thank heavens. Of course, if you don't want me, say so. I won't come if I'm unwelcome.
No, my dear fellow, I didn't mean to suggest that you would.
Decide just as you please about it. I thought I'd do nicely to keep the ghosts off, though.
Oh, really? Roger.
Sorry, Parkins, I wouldn't have said that. I forgot you don't like levity on these topics.
Well, as you've mentioned the matter, I confess that I don't like careless talk about what you call ghosts. A man in my position can't be too careful about appearing to sanction the current beliefs on such subjects. I think I've never concealed my views.
Very sensible views, Parkins, especially for a chap who spends his life digging up the dead.
My dear fellow, we must talk seriously about these things. By all means, come down to Burnstow.
All right, I will. It won't be for 2 or 3 days. I have some clearing up to do.
A good game, Colonel. Thank you.
Don't thank me, Professor. Pleasure to play with you.
And now shall we be moving? This air is really very chill.
Which way shall we go?
Do you mind if we go back along the beach?
Not at all.
I want to take a look at some ruins a friend of mine asked me to inspect for him. There should be light enough to see. Mind you, I don't know exactly where they are, but I expect I shall stumble across them. Oh!
Steady on, Professor. Hurt yourself?
No, thank you. No, just a twist of the ankle. It'll go off in a minute. So that's what I fell over.
What is it? Looks to me like a lot of flints sticking out of the ground.
Exactly what it is, but they were put there by human hands. These mounds of flint, which are almost invisible among the turf, are no less than the remains of one of the Templars' round churches, Colonel.
Indeed. How do you know that?
Well, I must admit I came expecting to find something of the kind. The Templars built round churches, and here... Yes, here we have the traces of the circular plan. It's very interesting.
And when would this place be built?
Well, not later than 1185. That was when the order was suppressed. A lot of the Templars were killed, burnt to death, some of them.
Dear me, bad that. What harm had they done?
Only got too rich for the king to go on tolerating them. In any case, I doubt if they did any particular good, Colonel.
Then what do you study them for?
Their buildings interest me. Sermons in stones, Yes. Yes, this oblong eminence would be the base of the altar. And here... Oh, how interesting.
What is it?
You see, at this end of the altar base, a small cavity in the stone.
Yes.
I think... Yes, I can get some of the turf away with my knife. There. Artificially made. Rectangular. The inside smoothly finished.
Any buried treasure in it?
Most unlikely, but we may as well look. Have you got a match, Colonel?
Yes, certainly.
Thank you. Gone out. The wind's too strong. I'll try again. That's better. Now, let's see. Well, upon my word.
What have you found?
Well, I don't quite know. It seems to be a small metal tube. It's of considerable age. I should say it's been hidden there a very long time. I believe... let's have some more light on it. Yes, there's an inscription of some kind. And of course, we shan't be able to read it now. We'll have to wait till we get back.
Very dark suddenly. And infernally cold. Come on. Let's be getting back.
By all means. This splendid discovery has given me a remarkable appetite for dinner.
Beg pardon, did you ring, sir?
Oh, yes, I did. Would you kindly bring me another candle? I find two inadequate to light this large room.
Take this one, sir. I can get another.
That's very kind of you, thank you. Don't forget, I'd like early tea tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Good night, sir.
Good night. That's better. Now I can get a good look at this thing. Yes, quite a clear inscription. Just a little rubbing. Make it legible. There. Latin. It's useful. Quis est iste qui venit? Who is this that is coming? Oh, well. Now, this thing is quite obviously a whistle. Not unlike a modern dog whistle, indeed. Who is this that is coming, eh? Best way to find out is evidently to whistle for him. Still in working order? That's remarkable. Splendid! Splendid! Goodness me, what force the wind can get up in a few minutes. What a tremendous gust. There. Knew that window fastening was no use. All three candles out. It's enough to tear the room to pieces. I'll have to get this window shut somehow. That's better. Well, that really made me quite uneasy. Won't be a minute, Colonel. Just going to collect my ulster from my room.
Right. I'll wait for you.
Oh, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
If you please, would you like any extra blankets on your bed, sir?
Thank you. Yes, I think I should. It seems likely to turn rather colder. One will do.
Which bed shall I put it on, sir?
One? Well, why, the one I slept in last night, of course.
I beg pardon, sir, but you seem to have tried both of them. Leastways, we had to make them both up this morning.
Really? But how very absurd. I certainly never touched the other, except to lay some things on it. But did it actually seem to have been slept in?
Oh, yes, sir. All the things was crumpled and thrown about always, if you'll excuse me, sir. Quite as if anyone hadn't passed but a very poor night.
Dear me. Well, as a matter of fact, I did pass a very poor night. First, that terrible wind got up, and then I had some extraordinary dreams about a man running along the beach as if he were flying in terror, and a sort of pale shape hopping, bobbing along behind him.
Lord, that was nasty, sir. I should have woke myself up screaming if I'd dreamed a thing like that.
I probably did. At least I woke up. I actually went to that window to have a look at the beach. But there was only somebody standing about down there. What for at that time of night, I can't imagine.
Oh, we get all sorts on the beach, tramps and lurkers and the like, sir. I'll get you a blanket now.
I'm very sorry to have given you the extra trouble. Oh, by the way, I expect a friend of mine soon. A Mr. Rogers from Cambridge. He'll be occupying the spare bed, if that's all right.
Oh, yes, to be sure, sir. It's no trouble at all.
Quite an extraordinary wind that we had last night, eh, Parkins?
Remarkable. It rose out of complete stillness all in a moment. Blew my bedroom window open.
In my old home, we should have said someone had been whistling for it.
Should you indeed? Is there a superstition of that kind still rife in your part of the country?
I don't know about superstition. They believe in it all over Denmark and Norway, as well as on the Yorkshire coast. And my experience is, mind you, that there's generally something at the bottom of what these country folk hold to. Your drive.
Yes, of course. Thank you. I'm off my game this morning, after that disturbed night. As to what you were saying, Colonel, I think I ought to tell you that my own views on such subjects are very strong. I disbelieve entirely in the so-called supernatural.
Eh? That's so? You're an unbeliever in every sense, then? Second sight, ghosts? Don't believe in anything of that kind?
In nothing whatever of that kind. Now, as to this whistling for the wind, let me give you my theory about it. The laws which govern winds are really not perfectly known, and not at all, of course, to fisherfolk.
Well, go on.
A stranger, perhaps of eccentric appearance, is seen repeatedly on the beach at some unusual hour, and is heard whistling. Soon after, a violent wind rises, as a man who could read a barometer could have foretold that it would. Hence, a legend is born. Now take last night's wind. As it happened, I myself was whistling. I blew a whistle twice, and the wind seemed to come absolutely in answer to my call. Now, if anyone had seen me...
Whistling, were you? And what sort of whistle did you use?
Why, the thing we discovered in the ruined altar last night. When I took a good look at it, I realized its purpose at once.
Oh, well, if I were you, I should be very careful about using such a thing. Never know what you might be doing.
Nonsense, Colonel. Harmless, innocent... Now then, boy, now then. Mind where you're going. What in the world is the matter with the child? Is he hurt?
Frightened, more like. Had a fright, lad. Have you? Come now, brace up. Be a man.
Oh, sir, I've seen it wave at me out of the window and I don't like it.
Now, my boy, what happened, eh? Take your time.
Oh, sir, me and my brother, we was playing about on the grass in front of the globe like we do. Mr. Simpson don't mind.
Yes.
When I look out of the front window and I see it waving at me.
See what? What did you see? A person, was it?
Well, a sort of a person it might have been. It was all white and floppy.
White? Floppy? Had this thing a face?
Couldn't see it. It looked sort of crumpled, sir.
Now, be quiet a moment. Which was this window?
A second one, sir. The big window what got two little ones at the side.
Very well, my boy. You run away home now. I expect it was some person trying to give you a start. Here's a sixpence. No, I see it's a shilling. Now be off. Be off home and don't think any more about it.
Thank you, sir. A shilling! Oh, shilling!
Oh, that's curious. It's evidently my window the lad was talking about.
Sounds like it, certainly.
Do you mind if we break off our game and go back to the hotel, Colonel? I'd rather like to find out whether anyone has been interfering in my room.
Of course. I'll come back with you. Better two than one if there's any trouble in the offing.
Dear me. This is more serious than I thought.
What's the matter?
Well, I remember now that before I started this morning, I locked my bedroom door.
Yes?
Well, it's locked now, and I've got the key. Now, if the servants are in the habit of going into one's room while one is out, I don't approve of it at all.
Well, let's have a look inside.
Nothing seems disturbed.
Except your bed.
Oh, but that isn't my bed. I used the other one. But it does look as if someone's been playing tricks with it.
Yes, indeed. Bedclothes all bundled up and twisted. Quite sure you haven't been using it?
Yes, of course. I see now what's happened. I must have disordered the bedclothes last night in unpacking, and they haven't made it since.
Well, ring and ask.
Yes, I will. Yes, that's it. They came in to make it, and that boy saw them through the window, and then they were called away and locked the door after them. That's the explanation.
We'll soon know, for here comes the chambermaid. Very briskly service here.
Not as regards bed-making, evidently.
Did you ring, sir?
Yes, I did. Have you been into this room at all during the morning while I've been out?
Oh, no, sir. I made that bed and straightened that one when you was in the room this morning, and I not been in since.
Have you another key in case you wished to enter the room?
No, sir. Mr. Simpson keeps the duplicate keys.
I see. Well, thank you. Sorry to have bothered you.
It's all right, sir.
This is most extraordinary. You know, Colonel, in my own opinion is that boy was taking us in, play acting.
No. Don't believe that. You can't mistake genuine shock. I've seen it in soldiers. Too often to mistake it.
You're a very generous man, Colonel. More so than I am, I'm afraid. I believe in hard facts, you know.
And no fancies? Well, each to his beliefs.
Quite. By the way, while you're here, take a look at the old whistle, now that I've cleaned it up. You see the Latin inscription? It's interesting, isn't it?
Quis est iste quae venit? What do you mean to do with this thing?
When I get back to Cambridge, I shall submit it to my colleagues and see what they think of it. And then, if they consider it worth having, I may present it to one of the museums.
Well, you may be right. Shall I tell you what I would do with it?
By all means, Colonel.
I'd chuck it straight into the sea, and I advise you to do the same.
Sure, really. That's superstitious nonsense. A rare relic like this. Of course, I shan't do anything of the kind. Whistle for the wind, indeed. I wonder if I could do it again. Might just try. If nothing happens, so much for Colonel Wilson's bogies. Just one try. It worked. But, well, of course it... just a coincidence.
Shall I clear your table, sir?
Oh, yes, do, by all means.
Nothing else you want, sir?
Nothing, thank you, waiter. Hotel's very quiet tonight?
Yes, sir. We don't get many visitors this time of year. Only you and Colonel Wilson staying now.
The Colonel's gone to bed. Must be one or two strangers about, though. I saw a person hanging around on the beach last night, and he seemed to be there again this evening.
What sort of a person, sir?
Oh, well, it's too dark to see. Somebody in a light-coloured garment. I didn't altogether like the look of whoever it was. Perhaps you might have a word with Mr. Simpson.
Yes, certainly, sir. He's got a short way with him with suspicious characters, Mr. Simpson. Well, good night, sir.
Funny weather we're having, isn't it? That windstorm again this afternoon and yesterday. Is that typical of these parts?
I've never known anything like it since I've been here, sir, and that's 15 years. For all it's such a cold, bleak place, squalling, howling something frightful all of a sudden out of nothing.
It would make some people quite nervous to hear it, I expect.
Yes, it would, sir.
Well, I must be off to bed, I suppose. I believe I've seen some shelves of books in one of the rooms, by the way. Can you tell me where to find them?
Yeah, they be in the writing room, sir. You'll find all sorts there. They're pretty old and musty, most of them.
All the better. I want something on the dull side to read myself to sleep with. Somehow, I don't find this place conducive to sound sleep. Oh, my friend Mr. Rogers may be arriving tomorrow.
Oh, well, that'll be company for you, sir, won't it, then? Good night, then.
Good night. What's that? Oh, candlestick, I suppose. Infernal nuisance. Good heavens. Somebody in the other bed. Of course, Rogers. Rogers? How on earth did you get here? Why didn't you waken me? Rogers? Rogers? Is that you?
No. It's me.
No, keep away, keep away, keep away, keep away. This is a joke, Rogers. It's a very bad one, dressing up like a child's idea of a ghost. No, keep off, I tell you. I'll see your face. At any rate. No. No. Help! Somebody help me!
What the? Good gad! Hold on, Parkins. Let go, you filthy brute! It's gone. Parkins. Everything's all right. Here, drink this brandy. It'll brace you up.
Oh, thank you. Oh, Colonel, you saved my life.
Oh, always carry a little hip flask. Never know when it may come in useful.
No, I mean coming in when you did it. It had me by the throat, you know. Colonel, did you see it?
I saw it all right.
Oh, thank heaven for that. If you hadn't, you'd have thought I was mad. What did it look like to you?
Difficult to say. Whitish, floppy. Didn't get a close look at it, though.
I did. And do you know what the most horrible thing about it was, Colonel? Its face was made of crumpled linen.
Yes, that's how it looked to me before it vanished.
It didn't vanish. It's there. On the floor.
Eh? What? Good gad. A heap of bedclothes.
Yes, just so, but a few moments ago they had a dreadful, murderous life of their own. It's like a nightmare, but it happened. What can I do, Colonel? Suppose it happens again. Suppose I can never go to bed without fearing that I shall wake in the night and see that.
I don't think it'll happen again if we take adequate precautions. Where's that whistle thing.
Huh? Oh, there, on the washstand. I can't touch it. Don't ask me to.
Don't bother. I'm going to pick it up in my handkerchief. So, open the window and hurl it out. So. I have a strong arm still and a powerful throw. And you can be assured that thing's lying among the stones on the beach by now. And whoever owns it is welcome to take it.
I'm sorry I mocked at you, Colonel, and the things you believe in and other people believe in. I won't again.
That's good. I think you're wise.
Quis est iste qui venit. Who do you think it was, Colonel?
How should I know, my dear fellow? Easy enough to whistle. But there's no telling what will answer. I'll sleep in here with you tonight, if you don't mind.
So, you see, Mrs. Spenlow, why the mere sight of fluttering linen upsets me even now.
Yes, Professor. Quite understandable. Will you excuse me? I think I see my husband beckoning. Oh, Herbert, will you ask Annie to bring my smelling salts, dear? I feel quite faint.
Oh, Whistle, and I'll Come to You, M.R. James's ghostly story, was adapted by Michael and Mollie Hardwick. It starred Michael Hordern as Professor Parkins, with Earle Grey as Brown, James Thomason as Purdon, Austin Trevor as Colonel Wilson, Hilda Kreisman as Mrs. Spenlow, Rolf Lefebvre as Rogers, Sheila Grant as the chambermaid, Anthony Hall as the waiter, and Malcolm Hayes as the Thing. Special effects were by the BBC Radiophonic Workshop.
Today's play was recorded in the 19th...
There, Herbert, my boy. Got you, I think.
You're a deep un dead, aren't you?
Mean to say he's beaten you at last?
Oh, no. Why, he's overlooked my bishop.
Oh, I see. Let me have that.
No. Rules of the game.
Well, I don't know with them scientific rules. You term what ought to be an innocent relaxation.
Don't talk so much, Father. You put him off.
Naughty. Now.
Ooh, hark at the wind.
I'm listening.
I should hardly think Sergeant Major Morris will come tonight.
Checkmate.
What? That's the worst of living so far out. Your friends can't come for a quiet chat, and we addle our brains over a confounded game of chess.
Now, Father, Morris will turn up all right.
Lovers Lane, Fulham. All the beastly, slushy, out-of-the-way places to live in. Pathway's a bog, the road's a torrent.
Never mind, dear. Perhaps you'll win tomorrow.
Perhaps I'll win tomorrow? What do you mean? Yes. You always know what's going on inside of me, don't you, Mother?
I ought to, after 30 years.
It isn't such a bad place, Dad, after all. Home-like, I call it. And so do you, or you wouldn't have bought it.
Oh. Nice job I made of that, too, with £200 owing on it.
Why, I shall work that off in no time, Dad. Matter of 3 years with the rise promised me.
If you don't get married.
Not me. Not that sort.
Oh, I wish you would, Herbert. A good, steady woman.
Lots of time, Mother. Sufficient for the day, as the saying goes. Just now, my dynamos don't leave me any time for love-making. Jealous they are, I tell you.
I lay awake at night often, and I think if Herbert took a nap and let his, what do you call them, dynamos run down, all Fulham would be in darkness. What a joke.
Joke? And me with a sack. Pretty idea of a joke you've got, I don't think.
Oh,
that's him. That's the Sergeant Major.
I wonder what yarn he's got for us tonight.
Don't let the door slam, John.
All right. Sleeping quick. Right. As much as I can do to hold it against the wind. Awful.
And while up the road by the cemetery, it's worse. Enough to blow the hair off your head.
Give me a stick.
Yeah. If it wasn't that I knew what a welcome I'd get.
Sergeant Major Morris.
Oh, so cold you must be. Come to the fire, do we now?
How are you, Mom?
Oh, nicely, thank you.
How's yourself, laddie?
Thank
Not
you,
on
sir.
duty yet, eh? Working days now, are you?
Oh, no, sir, but there's half an hour yet. Still on night shift.
Nice hot drink for you, Sergeant.
Thank you kindly, Mom.
Sit down, Morris.
Oh, thank you. Ah, oh, that's good. That's a sight better than the trenches at Chitral. That's better than sitting in a puddle with the rain pouring down in buckets and the natives taking pot shots at you.
Didn't you have no umbrellas?
Umbrellas? Oh, that's good, eh, White? That's good. Hear what you said? Umbrellas. And galoshes, I suppose. And hot water bottles.
Wow.
Oh, yes. Well, no offence, Ma'am, but it's easy to see you was never a soldier.
Mother spoke out of kindness, sir.
Well, I know it, so no offence intended. No, Ma'am. Hardship. Hardship is the soldier's lot. Starvation, fever, and get yourself shot. That's a bit of me own.
You don't look to have taken much harm.
Oh, no, Ma'am, no. Tough. Thomas Morris is tough. And sober.
Here you are, Sergeant.
Oh, what's this now?
Put your nose in it and you'll see.
Whiskey.
Yes.
And hot and sugar. And a slice of lemon. No. No, I said I'd never.
Oh?
Well, seeing the sort of night. Well, here's another 1,000 a year.
Same to you and many of them.
What, not drinking, Herbert?
Oh, didn't go on to being sociable, but my work don't go with it.
Oh.
I've got to keep a cool head, a steady eye and a still hand, or the flywheel might gobble me up.
Oh, don't, Herbert.
No fear, Mother.
Oh, you electricians. Sort of magicians you are. Light, says you, and light it is, and power, says you, and the trams go whizzing, and knowledge, says you, and words go humming to the ends of the world. That fair beats me. And I've seen a bit of me time, too.
What, your Indian magic? All a fake, that.
Fake, you call it. I tell you, I've seen it.
Oh, come now, Sergeant. Such as what? Come now.
I've seen a cove with no more clothes on than a babby, if you know what I mean. Take an empty basket, empty, mind, as empty as... what is this here, glass?
Hand it over, Morris, I'll fill it up.
Which was not my intentions, but used for illustration.
I've seen the basket trick, and I've read how it was done. Why, I could do it myself with a bit of practice. Now ladle out something stronger.
Stronger?
Yeah.
What do you say to an old fake here, chucking a rope up in the air, mind you, and swarming up it, same as if it was hooked on, and vanishing, clean out of sight? I've seen that.
You must think I'm stupid.
You mean to say you doubt me word?
No, he's only taking you off. You shouldn't, Herbert.
Herbert was always one for a bit of fun.
But it's true. Why, if I chose, I could tell you things. But there, you don't get no more yarns out of me.
Oh, nonsense, old friend. You're not going to get shirty about a bit of fun. What was that you started telling me the other day about a monkey's paw or something?
Nothing. Leastways, nothing worth hearing.
Monkey's paw?
Oh, you was telling me...
Nothing. Don't go on about it.
You said you always carried it on you.
So I do. For fear of what might happen. Aye.
What's it for?
Yeah, you wouldn't believe me if I was to tell you.
I will. Every word.
Magic, then. Don't you laugh?
I'm not. Got it on you now?
Of course.
Let's see it.
Oh, it's nothing to look at. Just an ordinary little paw. Draw it to a mummy. Here, see for yourself.
Oh, give us a look. Why, it's all dried up.
I said so.
Hark at that wind.
And what might there be special about this old paw, then?
That there paw has had a spell put upon it. By an old fakir. He was a very holy man. He'd sat all doubled up in one spot going on for 15 years, thinking of things. And he wanted to show that fate ruled people. That everything was cut and dried from the beginning, as you might say. That there wasn't no getting away from it. And that if you tried to, you caught it hot. So he put a spell on this bit of a paw. It might have been anything else, but he took the first thing that come handy. He put a spell on it and made it so that 3 people could each have 3 wishes.
Don't.
But, mark you, Though the wishes were granted, those 3 people would have caused a wish they hadn't been.
But how could the wishes be granted?
Oh, he didn't say. It would all happen so natural you might think it a coincidence if so disposed.
Why haven't you tried it, sir?
I have.
You've had your 3 wishes?
Yes.
Were they granted?
They were.
Has anybody else wished?
Yes. The first owner had his 3 wishes. Yes, oh yes, he had his 3 wishes, all right. I don't know what his first 2 were, but the third was for death. Oh. That's how I got the paw.
Well, seems to me you've only got to wish for things that can't have any bad luck about.
Maurice, if you've had your 3 wishes, it's no good to you now. What do you keep it for?
More fancy, I suppose. I did have some idea of selling it, but I don't think I will. It's done enough mischief already. Besides, people won't buy. Some of them think it's a fairy tale, and some want to try it first and pay after.
Well, if you could have another 3 wishes, would you?
I don't know. I don't know. No, I'm damned if I would. I'd rather destroy it here and now. In the fire there!
Hey, what are you doing? Throwing it on the fire.
Let it burn. Oh, let the infernal thing burn.
Let it burn, Father.
No. If you don't want it, I'll have it. There. It's only singed.
My hands are clear of it. I threw it on the fire. If you keep it, don't blame me whatever happens. Here, pitch it back again.
I'm going to keep it. What do you say, Herbert?
I say keep it if you want to. Stuff and nonsense anyway.
Stuff and nonsense. Yes. I wonder. I wish...
Stop! Mind what you're doing. That's not the way.
What is the way?
Oh, don't have anything to do with it, John.
That's what I say, Mom. But if I want to tell him, he might go wishing something he didn't mean to. You hold it in your right hand and wish aloud. But I warn you. I warn you.
Sounds like the Arabian Nights. Don't you think you might wish me 4 pair of hands? Make cleaning the house a lot quicker.
Right you are, Mother. I wish that...
Stop it! If you must wish for something sensible. Look here, I can't stand this. It gets on my nerves. Where's my coat?
Hey, I'm coming up your way to the works in a minute. Won't you wait?
No, I'm all shook up. I don't want to be here when you wish. And wish you will as soon as my back's turned. I know. But I've warned you, mind.
All right, Maurice, now. Don't you fret about us. Here. Now, take a little something for the poor.
No, I won't.
Yes, you will.
Put it in the fire. I beg you. Put it in the fire.
Good night, Sergeant Major.
Good night.
Well, if there's no more in this than there is in his other stories, we shan't make much out of it.
I wonder.
What?
I wonder whether we hadn't better chuck it on the fire.
Not likely. Why, we're all going to be rich and famous and happy.
Throw it on the fire when you give them money for it. Not like you, Father.
Wish to be an emperor, Father, to begin with. Then you can't be henpecked.
You young scallywag.
Be quiet there. I wonder. I don't know what to wish for, and that's a fact. I seem to have got all I want.
Oh, Dad, if you'd only cleared the debt on the house, you'd be quite happy, wouldn't you? Well, go ahead. Wish for the £200. That'll just do it.
Shall I?
Go on. Here, I'll play some suitable music.
I wish for £200. Oh, my God.
What's the matter?
It moved. That paw moved, as I wished. It twisted in my hand like a snake.
Nonsense, Dad. Why, it's as stiff as a bone.
Must have been your fancy, Father.
Well, I don't see the money, and I bet I never shall.
Thank God there was no harm done, but it gave me a shock.
11:30. I must get along. I'm on at midnight.
Don't be late for breakfast, Herbert.
I shall be home as usual. Walk home. Does me good. Be with you about 9. Don't wait, though.
You know your father never waits. Come on, dear, I'll see you to the door.
Good night, Dad. You'll find the cash tied up in the middle of the bed.
It moved, Herbert.
And a monkey hanging by his tail from the bedpost, helping to count the golden sovereigns.
I wish you wouldn't joke, my boy.
All right, Dad. Good night.
Right.
Come and get your coat on. Good night, dear.
Oh, no, what weather. Good night.
Oh, Jenny! Jenny!
What's the matter?
Nothing. I just thought I saw faces in the fire.
Oh. Now, come along, Father. What you need is a good night's sleep.
What a morning Herbert's got for walking home.
What's o'clock? 9:15, I declare. He's off at 8.
Well, it takes him half an hour to change and wash. He's just by the cemetery now.
He'll be here in 10 minutes. Oh, look, there's that dirty monkey's paw by the butter dish. Silly thing. The idea of us listening to such nonsense.
Aye, the sergeant major and his yarns. I suppose all old soldiers are alike.
How could wishes be granted nowadays?
Ah. Been thinking about it all night, have you?
All that rubbish about it's making you unhappy if your wish was granted. How could £200 hurt you, eh, Father?
Might drop on my head in a lump.
Oh, dear.
I don't see it any other way, and I try to bear that. Though, mind you, Morris said it would all happen so naturally that you might take it for a coincidence if so disposed.
Well, it hasn't happened, that's all I know, and it isn't going to. And how you can sit there and talk about it. What's that?
Postman, of course.
He's brought a letter, John.
What did you think he'd bring? Ton of coals?
John, suppose
Suppose
it was £200.
Eh? Here. Oh, don't talk nonsense. Well, why did you fetch it?
But I'm going to. It's thick, John, and it's got something crisp inside it.
Who's it for?
You.
Well, hand it over then. Oh, dear. The superstitious old woman you are. Now, where are my specs?
Oh, let me open it.
Don't you touch it. Where are my specs?
Don't let sudden wealth sour your temper, John.
Where did you find my specs?
Yep. Oh, there they are. Take care, don't tear it.
You've gone dotty and it made me nervous. Sir, enclosed, please find receipt for interest on a mortgage of £200 on your house. Do you received?
That comes of listening to tipsy old soldiers.
What does?
You thought there was banknotes in it.
I didn't. I said all along.
Oh, Herbert will laugh when I tell him.
No, you're not going to tell him. You're going to keep your mouth shut. That's what you're going to do. Why, I should never hear the last of it.
Serve you right. I shall tell him. You know how you like his fun. See how he joked you last night when you said the paw moved?
So it did. It did move. That I'll swear to.
You thought it did.
I say it did. There was no thinking about it. You saw how it upset me, didn't you? Didn't you? Why don't you listen? What is it?
Nothing.
Do you see Herbert coming?
No.
He's about due. What is it?
Nothing. It's only a man. Looks like a gentleman. Leastways, he's in black and he's got a top hat on.
Well, what about him?
He stood at the garden gate as if he wanted to come in, but he couldn't seem to make his mind up.
Oh, go on. You're full of fancies.
He's going. No, he's coming back.
Well, don't let him see you peeping.
He's looking at the house. He's got his hand on the latch. No, he's turned away again. John, he looks like a sort of lawyer.
Well,
Well, what of it?
Oh, you'll only laugh again, but suppose he's coming about the 200.
Now, you're not to mention it again. You're a foolish old woman. Now, come and eat your breakfast. Where is he now?
He's gone down the road. He's turned back. He seems to have made up his mind. Here he comes. Oh, John and me, all untidy.
Well, what's it matter? What's it matter? He's made a mistake. He's come to the wrong house.
Is this Mr. White's?
Come in, sir. Please step in. You must overlook how being so untidy in the room all anyhow, and John in his garden coat. Oh, John.
Morning. My name is Sampson.
How do you do?
Won't you please be seated?
Thank you. No, I think not. I think not. My name is Sampson. I've come...
Perhaps you was wishful to see Herbert. He'll be home in a minute. Here's his breakfast.
Oh, no. I've come from the electrical works.
Why, you might have come with him.
No, I've come alone.
Is anything the matter?
I was asked
Herbert.
Call.
Herbert, has anything happened? Is he hurt? Is he hurt?
There, Mother. Now, don't you jump to conclusions. Let the gentleman speak. You've not brought bad news, I'm sure, sir.
I'm sorry.
Is he hurt?
I'm afraid he is.
Badly?
Very badly.
Oh, John! Oh.
Is he
in pain?
He is not in pain.
Oh, thank God. Thank God for that.
Go on, sir.
He was telling his mates a story. Something that happened here last night. He was laughing and wasn't noticing, and the machinery caught him.
The machinery caught him?
Oh.
Yes. And him the only child. It's hard, sir.
Oh.
Very hard.
The company wished me to convey their sincere sympathy with you in your great loss.
Great loss.
I was to say the company disclaim all responsibility, but in consideration of your son's services, they wish to present you with a certain sum as compensation.
How great loss. How great. How much?
£200.
Jenny?
Yes?
Where are you?
At the window.
What are you doing?
Looking up the road.
What's the use, Jenny? What's the use?
That's where the cemetery is. That's where we've laid him.
Aye. A week today. What o'clock is it?
I don't know.
We don't take much account of time now, Jenny, do we?
Why should we? He don't come home. He never come home again. There's nothing to think about.
Or to talk about. Come away from the window. You'll get cold.
It's colder where he is.
Aye. Gone forever.
And taken all our hopes with him.
And all our wishes.
Aye. And all our... John!
Jenny, for God's sake, what's the matter?
The paw. The monkey's paw. I want it. You haven't done away with it?
I haven't seen it since...
I want it. Find it. Find it.
Here. Here it is. Now, what do you want?
Didn't I think of it? Why didn't you think of it?
Think of what?
The other two wishes.
What?
We've only had one.
Wasn't that enough?
No, we'll have one more. Take it. Take it quickly and wish...
Wish what?
John, wish our boy alive again.
God, are you mad?
Take it and wish my boy.
Get to sleep. You don't know what you're saying.
We had the first wish granted, why not the second?
He's been dead 10 days and... Jenny, I only knew him by his clothing. If you wasn't allowed to see him then, how could you bear to see him now?
I don't care. Bring him back.
I daren't touch that.
Here, take it. Wish. Wish.
Jenny.
Wish.
I wish my son alive again.
Nothing.
Thank God. Thank God.
Nothing at all. Along the whole length of the road, not a living thing. And nothing left in our lives, John.
Except each other, Jenny. And memories.
We're too old. We were only alive in him. We can't begin again. We can't feel anything now, John, but emptiness and darkness.
It isn't for long, Jenny. There's that to look forward to.
Every minute's long now.
I can't bear the darkness.
It's dreary.
Where's the candle? And the matches? Where's the matches? We mustn't sit in the dark. It isn't wholesome. Don't take on so, Mother.
I'm a mother no longer.
There now. Go on up to bed. Go on. I'm a-coming.
Whether I'm here or in bed or wherever I am, I'm with my boy. I'm with...
What's that? A rat. The house is full of them. Now stop. What are you going to do?
It's my boy. It's Herbert. I forgot the cemetery was a mile away. What are you holding me for? I must open the door.
For God's
Let
sake.
me go.
Don't open the door.
Let me go.
Think what you might see.
You think I fear the child I bore? Let me go. I'm coming, Herbert. I'm coming.
Don't he do it. Don't he do it. You didn't see it, Mother, like I did.
I'm coming, Herbert. I'm coming.
Where's the monkey's paw?
John, the top bone's stuck. I can't move it. Come and help, quick.
There's a wish left.
Hear him, John. Your child's knocking.
Where is it? Where did it fall?
Help. Will you keep your child from his home?
Where did it fall? I can't find it. I can't find it.
Boy, wait. I'm opening the door.
God forbid. The paw.
Herbert.
I wish him dead. I wish my son dead. I wish him dead and at peace.
The Monkey's Paw by W. W. Jacobs, adapted by Lewis Parker, featured Jack Watson as Mr. White, Joan Matheson as Mrs. White, Richard Derrington as Herbert, John Hollis as the Sergeant, and Robert Trotter as Samson. The play, recorded in 1978, was directed by Gordon House. The Monkey's Paw by W. Jacobs, adapted by Lewis Parker, featured Jack Watson as Mr. White, Joan Matheson as Mrs. White, Richard Derrington as Herbert, John Hollis as the Sergeant, and Robert Trotter as Samson. The play, recorded in 1978, was directed by Gordon House.
Circumstances, and tonight's play was recorded in the 1960s, and the main action takes place on the English coast during that period. We present Brenda Bruce in An Unrecorded Instance, adapted for radio from a story by Mrs. Belloc Lowndes. An Unrecorded Instance.
Hetty, where are you?
I'm here, Mum.
Hetty!
It's all right, Mother. I'm here all the time.
Oh, I thought you'd gone.
Now, you just try to sleep. I'll puff your pillow up for you.
No, never mind. Listen, dear. I haven't got long now.
Mum.
I know I've been a great trial to you, being ill like this. But you'll miss me when I'm gone.
Oh, Mum.
Shut up and listen.
All right, Mum. I'm listening.
You lived at home here all your life. And you're 32. 32. And soon you'll be on your own for the first time. So what my advice to you is, keep yourself to yourself like I've always done. And never you go and lend a penny of your money to anybody.
Oh, Mum.
Lodgings will never be any use to you. Hotels would be too expensive, so just you find some nice boarding house at the seaside or somewhere.
All right, Mum.
And don't you listen to those silly folk who run down single life. Marriage isn't all it seems to be, I know that. And you're not the sort of woman any man will ever like for herself.
Mum, how could you say...
Oh, I know. I wouldn't say it if I didn't know I was dying. But that's the one worry I've got left now. That some bad man will try and marry you for your money. But remember, I'll always be as near to you as they'll allow me to be. Watching over you. And if you get in any trouble over money, you're to go straight to Mr. Quinn. And remember, your poor old Mum will be watching over you wherever you are.
Well, the will is quite straightforward, Miss Mingle. I'm to pay you every quarter a cheque for £136.
Mr. Quinn?
Ah, yes, a provident woman, your late mother, Miss Mingle. Now, I've opened an account in your name at a bank in London, whose name and address I've written down for you here.
Thank you.
The first installment has been paid in already. All subsequent payments will be made to you by cheque, and all you have to do is to pay each cheque into the bank, and they'll write to me to confirm that this has been done.
Oh.
Pure formality, of course, but your late mother's wish. Her way, if you like to think of it so, of continuing to keep a kindly eye on your affairs.
Yes, I see. But I'm not an extravagant woman, Mr. Quinn.
Have you given any thought yet as to where you intend to live?
Oh, yes. I've written away to a very nice boarding house. It's 4 guineas a week, all found.
Oh, most reasonable. And where, exactly?
Laxton Spa.
Oh, how I envy you, Miss Mingle. Laxton. I wonder if the old bandstand is still there in the park.
Oh, I do hope it is.
Nice day for the time of year. Good band. Very good band indeed. Hop, 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 hop. Nothing like a good military band, I always say.
Oh, yes,
Beg pardon?
I was only going to say...
My word.
What is it?
Well, you're not here to take the cure. I'll make a bet on that.
I don't...
Yeah, you don't mind me saying so, but if ever I saw a picture of health...
You mean me?
Who else? What an advertisement for Laxton Spa. Now, if I was in the publicity business...
I think, if you don't mind...
But I'm not, just antiques.
Oh, antiques.
Yes, keep a sharp eye open. You never know what you'll manage to pick up.
That's very interesting.
Very interesting business. Mind, it takes experience, you know.
Oh, yes.
Have to know what's worthwhile. Taste, you know. Artistic.
Oh, yes, I can see you'd have to be.
Got to be always on the lookout. Never know where you'll find things. Now, take some of these old boarding houses, for instance. Drab old places, you might say. But somewhere inside, tucked away.
I've never thought about it like that. Yes, I can see.
Oh, yes. Well, take wherever you're staying, for instance. Hotel, perhaps?
Oh, no. A boarding house.
Ah, well, your boarding house, then. Now, when you go back there, you just take a look round. You'll be surprised what you've never noticed. You know, in the trade, we don't mind paying a good commission to anyone who can put us on to something worthwhile.
Is that a fact? Well, I must say it's a change.
Change?
I mean, to have someone wanting to give you money. Most of them seem to think the idea is to take it away.
Oh, well, now, don't say you're a heiress or something, eh? Yes, well, nothing personal intended, I'm sure. It's just the way you said it.
Oh.
So, you prefer a boarding house to the hotels? I'll find it more comfortable, more homey, I expect.
I hate hotels. You don't get anything like the value for your money.
Right. I'm beginning to see you're a very sensible young lady.
Oh.
You often come out here, sit in the park?
There isn't much else to do, really. I mean, in a place like this.
Ever go to the pictures?
Now and again.
Would you think me presuming to ask you to come with me?
Oh.
I mean, me standing Sam, of course. Well, by the way, my name's Grantham, Jack Grantham. May I ask your name?
My name?
Yes.
My name is Henrietta Mingle.
Henrietta Mingle. Miss? Or is it Mrs.?
It's Miss.
Yes. Yeah, it's funny, but I felt sure from the first you were a single lady.
You married?
Not me. Mind, I've plenty to keep a wife on, which is more than you can say for some chaps these days. No, yours truly just hasn't ever met the lady he's wanted to make Mrs. Grantham. Well, business one way for the idler. Shall we say just here, tomorrow at 2? We might take a little turn before the pictures. Then a nice cup of tea in the pump room after. Now then, what could be nicer than that?
All right. I'll wait for you here, then.
Oh, no. I'll be waiting here for you. Motto of the trade, you know. Never keep a client waiting, eh?
But it's all so sudden. I've only known you a fortnight. Jack?
Hetty.
And what about your business?
Let it wait. Not noticed me worrying over much about business these last 2 weeks, have you, darling?
Darling. No one's ever said such sweet things to me. Never.
Well, then, what's the answer to be?
Yes, Jack, I will.
My own darling.
Darling. I must let Mr. Quinn know at once.
Mr. Quinn?
My lawyer, darling. He's the only friend I've got in the world. Save you.
Oh, yes, I see, darling. Sort of, old friend of the family?
In a way. He looks after my money for me.
Does he?
How do you mean, darling?
Well, every quarter he pays my allowance. You know, I told you about it.
Ah, yes.
He pays it to me by cheque, and I put it into the bank in London.
In London? That's not, Well, I mean, it's not very convenient, is it?
Oh, it suits me all right, darling. I don't mind, really. Darling? Kiss me again.
Is it? Oh, yes, love. Yeah, I've got it.
Oh?
Canterbury. We'll go down to Canterbury, get married in the register office, then you can open a new account with the branch of your London bank.
Oh, darling.
What is it?
A register office. Oh, I do think it'd be nicer in a church, more respectable.
Ah, all right then. You shall have it just how you want, darling. Here. How about another kiss?
Darling.
And, about the, financial arrangements?
Just whatever my hubby says, darling.
Very good morning to you. Dr. Pomfret Smith?
Yes, good morning.
You don't know me. I just happen to be staying in Trimling for a little while. Name of Grantham.
I see. Take a seat, Mr. Grantham.
Thank you.
Now, what's the trouble?
Oh, no. I'm okay, Doctor. It's about my wife. I've come to ask if you just take a look at her.
What seems to be the matter with Mrs. Grantham?
Well, I don't want to waste your time, Doctor. It's just that she's been having these awful headaches. She came over quite faint yesterday.
Have you been overdoing it rather before you came away? Just started your holiday, Mr. Grantham?
Well, the truth is, Doctor, we're still on our honeymoon. We were married in Canterbury just 3 weeks ago.
I see. Congratulations. I see her with pleasure. I imagine she could come here.
Oh, she's in the waiting room.
Oh, ask her to come in at once.
Thank you, Doctor. Hetty, my dear, the doctor will see you now.
Thank you, dear.
Well, Mrs. Grantham, I'm sorry to hear you've not been feeling too grand, eh? Perhaps the sea air's upset you.
Oh, I've often been by the sea, Doctor. Never did me any harm at all. Really, Jack, I don't think we should have troubled the doctor.
Now, darling, you remember very well you came all over pale yesterday. You gave me quite a turn.
Well, you said I turned pale, darling, but I didn't feel anything. I don't think.
It's all quite simple, I think, Mrs. Grantham. The sun's been very hot these last few days. I expect you got what I call a touch of sun headache. I'll just write you out a prescription.
Yes, but
That's very good of you, Doctor. Very kind indeed. Hey, darling?
Oh, yes, Jack.
And where are you staying, Mr. Grantham?
We've taken the old bungalow for a couple of months.
Dear me. Rather ramshackle, isn't it? I don't think it even has a bathroom, has it?
No. But I'm thinking of seeing if I can hire a bath for a couple of months.
Hire a bath? You'll be the first who's ever troubled to do that, Mr. Grantham. But old Price, the plumber in the village, he's the man to see.
Price? Oh, it's very good of you to mention him, Doctor.
Oh, not at all. Now, just you get this made up. 3 times a day after meals. I'm sure it'll all clear up.
Much obliged, I'm sure. Now, Hetty, darling, if you'll just go on into the waiting room, I'll settle up with the doctor.
All right, darling. Good morning, Doctor.
Well, good day, Mrs. Grantham.
Now, Doctor, I imagine this will cover it.
Far too much. No, there's no need to.
Short reckonings make long friends, don't they say?
Well,
I hope I shan't have to trouble you again, Doctor, but you saw how she is. Won't admit to the least little bit of suffering. Just between the two of us, if she isn't right within a day or two, you won't mind seeing her again?
No, of course not, Mr. Grantham.
Well, here we are back in our own little love nest again, darling. Jack, is anything the matter? You hardly spoke to me all the way back from the doctor's.
And just how do you think you made me feel there in front of him?
Jack.
You could see he's a busy man. But you have to let me tell him all about your symptoms and then turn round and make out there was nothing wrong after all.
But, Jack, I never felt anything wrong, I told you. Please, Jack. Darling.
Look, do you mind?
Oh.
You don't think because we're newly married we can go on kissing and cuddling all the time?
I never thought to hear you say a thing like that.
Oh, for heaven's sake, don't start stuffling.
And another thing, we're running short of cash again. You'd better give me another cheque for 20.
20? But I sent one for 25 only the day before yesterday.
I told you that was for rent in advance. What do you think we're to live on? Sea air?
No,
Come to think of it, you better make it 25. There's food to get. And a bath to pay for.
The bath? But I heard Mr. Price say we could pay when we finished with it. 5 shillings a week for as long as we've kept it.
Now, you've got sharp ears, haven't you? Well, then I'm sure you didn't miss hearing him say about the deposit.
Deposit? No, I'm sure he never...
And you were standing right by me all the time. You know, I really am worried about you, darling. Yes, you are looking pale, you know. Just like the doctor said.
He said...
Of course, just after you'd gone out of the room again. Come to think of it, your eyes don't look too good either. Sort of angry.
Oh, dear. Oh, if only there was a mirror in this old place. I've got one in my handbag.
Now, never mind about that. Look, just you take off your hat and lie down on the sofa for a bit. I'll mix you up a glass of that stuff we got from the chemist's.
But the doctor said after meals.
Well, it is after a meal, isn't it? I mean, it's always after a meal, whichever way you look at it, eh?
Oh, darling, you're always so thoughtful for me. Am I a nuisance to you?
Nuisance? Now, what sort of talk's that? All I want's for you to get properly well again. Now do as I tell you while I make up your medicine.
Yes, I'll do as my hubby tells me.
Oh, I'm sorry if I was a bit sharpish about the cash, dear. Hey, you know how it is, though. I need every penny of mine to buy stuff whenever I come across it. Never get anywhere in the trade if you can't produce the ready cash, you know. So, like we agreed, we'll just have to manage on yours for everyday things. Here you are. Drink this up.
Thank you. Ugh.
That's my girl. Now, you just settle down for a little snooze. I'm going down to the village for a bit of a scout round. See what I can spot through some of the cottage windows. Never know what bargains you're going to find in a sleepy old place like this.
All right, dear. Don't be too long, though.
I won't. Here. Give your old man a kiss before he goes, eh?
Oh, darling.
So long now.
Don't be long, darling. My hubby said to rest. My hubby. I feel all right, though. I think I do.
Hetty, dear.
What's that?
Hetty.
Mom!
Try and think, Hetty. Try and think for yourself.
Mom! Where... Oh, dear. I must be going delirious. Oh, why did he have to go out? Oh, Jack. Please, come home.
Anyone in?
Oh, who is it?
We brought your bath, Mum.
Oh, the bath. Oh, yes, I'm coming.
Morning, Mum. One bath.
You have been quick.
Well, I happen to be coming up this way, so Mr. Price said bring it straight up. Where are you going to have it?
Where? Oh, I don't really know. My husband's out.
Well, it can't hardly stay out here. Taking 3 of us to lift off the van. So if I was you, Mrs., I'd just tell us where you think it's to go, just approximate like, and we'll put it where you and him can drag it to where you want it when he gets back.
Yes, I see. Well, then perhaps just in the corner here.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I think that should do.
Right. Ready?
Right, all right.
Up. You asked me, Mrs. We ought to leave it a bit nearer the taps. This here's heavy, you know.
Oh, dear. Well, there are only 2 taps, and they're in the scullery. It would never go in there.
Was that the scullery over there?
Yes.
Oh, we set it down as near as we can, then. Right.
God. Thank you very much.
It's all right. Suppose you can fill it with a hose. Here. How are you going to empty it, though?
I really don't know. My husband...
Oh, well. Well, we'll be on our way, then.
There. That should be all right just there, I reckon. Plenty of room to get in and out of the scullery.
You are strong, darling.
My word, that's a fine bath, that is. Beautiful.
Whoever heard of going on about a beautiful bath? You are a one.
A couple of lengths of hose, one from the scullery tap, the other from the waste pipe out to the drain by the front door.
You are clever, darling.
Here, though. What am I thinking of? All this excitement, you should be lying down.
No, Jack, really, I'm quite all right now.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll slip over to Arundel and pick up some lengths of hose. You won't get anything like that in these parts. Then, when I get back, you can be the first to have a nice hot bath.
I'll come with you. I've always wanted to see the castle.
No, darling, that wouldn't quite do. I mean, we'd be bound to stand right outside the doctor's waiting for the bus. And I wouldn't like him to see you out and about as soon as that.
But, Jack...
Very strict in his instructions to me, he was. And you're looking pale again. So that's settled then. You have a nice lie up here all day. I'll go into Arundel, see about selling one or two things while I'm there, get some of your pennies back for you. By the time I get back, I expect you'll be as bright as a trivet, all ready for a nice hot bath.
If you like, then.
I don't say, mind, that I won't have a nice surprise for you when I get back.
A surprise? For me? Oh, darling, you are so good to little Hetty.
Anyone at all?
Yes?
Oh, you'll excuse me walking in, dear. I can see you're busy. I'm Mrs. Jones from the cottage up the lane.
How do you do?
Well, I just thought I'd pop in to see if you're settled.
That's very kind of you, Mrs. Jones.
Oh, you're putting in a bath, then?
We've hired it. My hubby's very particular about his bath, you know.
He must be, but how are you going to
he's gone off into Arundel to get some hose pipe.
Oh, I see.
I thought I'd just get all this newspaper off the legs.
Oh, well, shall I give you a hand?
Don't bother.
Oh, 'tis no trouble for a neighbour. There. Oh, you've nearly got that one off.
Yes.
There. Oh, my word, that's funny.
What is it?
Oh, better not get the wind up, my dear, but look at this headline.
Bride dies in her bath.
Oh, you can't help laughing, can you? What's it say?
Last Tuesday morning at Eastbourne Coroner's Court, there was opened an inquest on Mary Ann Ludlow, the wife of Mr. John Ludlow, who was found dead in her bath. Mr. and Mrs. Ludlow had been married only 3 weeks. Oh, just like us.
What, you newlyweds too? Oh, dear me. Oh.
Dr. Pember gave evidence that he had attended deceased only a week before her death. He had found her only slightly indisposed, and there had been nothing really wrong with her. From the post-mortem examination, it appeared that Mrs. Ludlow had turned faint in the water, and that slipping down in the bath, her head had become immersed, causing her to suffocate. That's all it says.
What a terrible shock for the poor man.
Yes, dreadful.
Hetty.
Mom!
Hetty, my dear, be careful. Look where you're going, my child.
What is it, dear?
I thought I...
Oh, yes. Look, it was the postman. Oh, he's thrown the letter through the door as it was open.
A letter?
Yes. From Mrs. Granton. That's you, isn't it, dear?
Yes.
Looks important.
Thank you. It's from my solicitor in London. Oh, dear. He sounds cross with me.
Cross?
You see, I got married in rather quickly, and he's only just got back from holiday and heard about it. He says he wants to see me urgently about the reinvestment of my capital. Oh, dear.
Now, there's no need to get worried, dear. Why, London's only a step from here. There's a straight-through train every hour.
Is there?
Yes. I often go up in the morning on a cheap day return and back here by 5 to get the old man his tea.
Do you? Then I'll go today. I'll just scribble a note for my husband in case he comes back early. Dear Jack, in case you wonder where I am, I have decided to go to London. I know. I'll put this bit from the newspaper with it. My hubby loves a good laugh. There. And I'll write, isn't this a funny bit I've cut out of the newspaper? Having that bath here makes me think of it. I bet Mr. Quinn will have a fit when I tell him.
Oh, you're a caution, you are, Mrs. Grantham. Come along. There isn't too much time to catch the bus.
Darling? Darling? He must be back by now. Jack? Darling, I've been to London to see Mr. Quinn. Well, all the way to London and back and I've beaten him. Shan't need my note now, then. Oh. It's gone. Perhaps he's in the bedroom. Jack? Now, Jack, I know you're there. Darling? Oh, he isn't. His things. They're not hanging up. Oh, the drawers are empty. He's gone. Jack? Is that you, darling?
Oh, evening, missus. Pardon the intrusion. We didn't know there was anyone here.
What do you want?
We come for the bath, ma'am.
Huh? A bath?
Yes, your hubby came tearing in an hour or two ago. Paid what he owed and said something about leaving on urgent business. Thought you gone with him, like.
Urgent business?
Yes. Said he had to get off quickly. Wouldn't be needing the bath after all.
An Unrecorded Instance by Mrs. Belloc Lowndes was adapted for radio by Michael and Mollie Hardwick. Hetty was played by Brenda Bruce and Jack by Malcolm Hayes. Other parts were played by Lee Fox, Mary O'Farrell, Peter Pratt, Timothy West, Godfrey Kenton, Kenneth Hyde and Vivian Chatterton. The producer was Charles LaFave. Tune in tomorrow night for another thrilling half hour of mysterious circumstances, brought to you by the BBC and broadcast on National Radio.
Circumstances. And today's play was recorded in the 1950s and is set in Italy. We present Howard Marion Crawford and Brian Wilde in The New Capster. Later, Paul Fenton was played by Hector Ross and Quilla Fenton by Hilda Schroeder. Other parts were played by Walter Fitzgerald, Patricia Gallimore, Michael McLean, Lewis Stringer, Wilfred Babbage, and Arthur Lawrence. We also heard Geoffrey Matthews, Nigel Graham, and Ursula Hurst. The producer was Martin C. Webster.